Alright, you lot. So I asked for your questions this week and bloody hell you delivered. You lot didn't just send in curiosities, you sent loaded traps, kicking arguments, and a few absolute pub starters. Got everything from Battlefield 6's supposed comeback to Dead by Daylight doing legal gymnastics, and a cheeky CarPlay glitch that's got me audio doing Morse code through your motor. We're talking Splitgate resurrection, Holdfast community through a Yorkshire lens, and yeah, spicier. Whether or not grown adults playing games are still getting side-eyed like they're stuck in the man's basement playing Pong in the pants. So grab a brew, or something stronger, hit like, subscribe and all that bollocks. Let's dive into another round at Hey Scotty, where questions get honest and answers come swinging. First up this week, we got 3 tightly packed questions all aimed square at Battlefield 6. Our mate DrawnNet on Twitter asked, what do you think about SBMM in Battlefield 6? And will you be playing the game at 70 quid? Then over on YouTube, Jack Left Hand came in with, what are your current thoughts on Battlefield 6? Right, let's pick bones clean. Battlefield 6 is shaping up like Dyke just woke up, looked in the mirror, and decided to apologise for last decade with action instead of words. They've gone back to grounded settings, proper soldier loadouts, and urban chaos that actually looks like a war zone, not a rejected Fortnite map. Design director even said it straight, no more fantasy, no more fashion show, just soldiers and objectives. And when a dev says, we don't need Nicki Minaj, that's not subtle, that's scorched earth. Class systems back with actual clarity, Recon gets ghillie suit, everyone else gets proper uniforms that make visual sense. No unicorn masks, no rave helmets. You know what you're shooting at, you know what role to play, and what makes firefights readable again. No more guesswork. That's not nostalgia, that's basic bloody sense. Battlefield 3 and 4 had that baked in, and 2042 flushed it down the toilet with a wardrobe full of neon regrets. Now at SBMM, this is where gears start to grind. DICE says they've got this adaptive logic system. Sounds clever. What it really means is every game mode has its own recipe. Conquest might match you based on ping first, skill second. Breakthrough might flip it. One match you're chilling in a clean lobby with lads from your region, next match you're getting domed by a guy from Brazil teleporting across screen like he's got admin commands. And skill metric they're using? We've seen how that plays out. Hidden scores, big stats, no clear feedback. One strong round and system decides you're ready for deep end. Suddenly you're spawn locked by cracked players while your teammates are doing 360s in a corner. That's not balance, that's chaos dressed up like maths. Matchmaking ain't about fairness, it's about consistency. If rules change depending on mode, then nobody learns, nobody adapts. It becomes this moving target that punishes casuals and bought sweats. Now will I be playing it? Possibly. I'm in beta this Thursday through Battlefield Labs, so I'll get hands on soon enough. But as for paying 70 quid on day one, that's not locked in. They say not right things, I'll give them that, and I want to believe, but this industry taught me a long time ago that pretty words are worth bugger all if gameplay stinks. So I'll jump in, test it myself, and then we'll see. If it lands, brilliant. If it flops, you'll hear about it. Loudly. DrawnNet, Jack Left Hand. Good set of questions, lads. Appreciate you. Right, next one up comes from Jack Left Hand again, and this one's got a cheeky little tech gremlin baked in. He asked, why do I hear a clicking sound when I play your vids in CarPlay? It only happens on your vids. At first I thought I were nuts, because it never happens with any other vids I listen to while driving. Right, so first off mate, you're not nuts. And I mean that sincerely. This ain't some tinfoil hat moment. In fact, there's a few solid reasons why this could be happening. And they've all got stinker software bollocks on them. Now option 1, and this is boring, is that it's a CarPlay codec bug. Won't be first time. Apple's been caught before pushing out updates that block audio handling in apps like YouTube or Spotify. Something about how the compress or buffer audio can lead to weird artifacts, like ticking, clicking, or that pulsing robotic static that sounds like your phone's trying to phone home to Cupertino in Morse code. For option 2, this one's much spicier, is about how I mix my audio. See, most creators slap a limiter on the final track, smooths out volume, keeps it punchy. But I go heavier than most. I compress life out of audio to keep pub banter grip front and centre, so you can hear every drop of sarcasm, every sigh of disgust, even if your car speakers are made of wet cardboard. And here's catch, some playback systems hate that, especially CarPlay, which seems to treat alt non-standard like it's a threat. My dynamic range is tied to the New Yorkshireman's wallet. CarPlay might glitch out trying to play it clean. So what you're hearing could be clipping ticks or decoding burps cause compression's pushing ceiling. Now I do mix in mono compatibility and car profiles when I master track, but CarPlay's still a fickle bastard. Weird part is, it don't affect every user, every car, or every setup. It's one of those only when Saturn's in retrograde and you're on a B-road type bugs. I'll take a look at latest render chain, see if I can tweak mix a bit so it doesn't upset Apple's delicate little ears. But just know, it's not your car, it's not your hearing, it's not just you. It's a perfect storm of aggressive compression and platform that treats out outside of top 40 podcast settings like a suspicious package. Cheers for flagging it, Jack. Tech gremlins are real, and you've just spotted one. Good catch. Right, next one's a double again, this time from Ages 444. He asks, sum up Holdfast community Yorkshire style, and I was still curious about Change to Dead by Daylight where they changed wording from owned to unlocked. I suspect some shady things, but am I just paranoid? Let's start with Holdfast, shall we? Holdfast community Yorkshire style. Right, picture this. It's a Sunday afternoon. You've got 30 blokes crammed into a Napoleonic battle sim shouting insults across the field like it's a pub quiz hosted by Blackadder. Half from sound like they've never seen outside world, other half are playing bagpipes down the mic. And somewhere in distance there's a bloke role-playing a French cook who's just set fire to his tent again. It's not toxic, it's theatrical. It's a pantomime stitched together with lag spikes and blind patriotism. You don't just join a regiment, you join a lifestyle. You start out thinking you're going to practice formations and team tactics. 3 hours later, you're role-playing as a drunk drummer trying to beat out God Save King while getting bayoneted in arse by a 12-year-old who thinks he's Napoleon. They're daft, they're dramatic, they're committed, and I'd take them over a modern shooter lobby any day of week. It's like being mugged in character by someone who says cheers afterward. Nah, Dead by Daylight wording shift. Changing on to unlocked might sound like a subtle bit of semantic sugar, but mate, you're not paranoid. That's legal prep. That's some late groundwork for account revokes, license transfers, and possibly one day selling back things you already unlocked if contract changes. Owned implied permanent, consumer rates, refund eligibility, carries weight. Unlocked just means access, temporary, conditional, revocable. They're separating you from your sensor entitlement on purpose. Not cost they're about to pull trigger now, but cost next year when they sell off studio or shift to a new launcher or kill support for a character. They'll already have language in place that says, nah mate, you never really owned it. It's subtle, it's strategic, it's shady as hell. So now you're not paranoid, you're paying attention. Nice pair of questions, Ages. Cheers. Right, next one comes from Connor Phelan 9825, who asks, Hey Scotty, what are your thoughts on stigma that surrounds gaming? People don't seem to have an issue with most other hobbies, but a fully grown man playing video games is often looked down upon. Now this and it's deep, cause it's still a thing, innit? You tell someone you spent your Saturday night gaming and you get that look, like you just said you collected toenail clippings or still sleep with a nightlight. But if someone else says they spent weekend binge watching some crime doc or watching millionaires kick a ball about, they get a pass. One's mature, one's childish. It's nonsense. Gaming's still treated like it's for kids cause people running conversation grew up in the wrong era. They think video games and they picture a 14-year-old screaming at Call of Duty while hurling slurs down headset. They don't see depth, creativity, storytelling, challenge. They don't see emotional gut punch you get from a game that actually respects your brain. It's changing, slowly. Our generation, Gen X and older millennials, we were first to grow up with games and never let go. We remember arcades. We remember blowing in cartridges. We saw it evolve from pixels into art. And we didn't stop cause we got jobs or mortgages. We carried it with us, like music or books or sport. Cause it's not just play, it's how we unwind, how we connect, how we think. Problem is, gaming still don't get framed in that way in mainstream. Unless it's esports or some influencer making 6 figures a month. Only headlines it gets are addiction, violence, or kids being radicalised by Minecraft mods. So stigma sticks, quietly, subtly, like a stain you can't scrub out, even when facts have changed. But here's what I say, let them sneer, let them judge. Cause next time some middle manager tells you to grow up while spending every evening doom scrolling on a couch with a beer gut and a dead stare, remember this, you've probably had more fun, more challenge, and more real joy in one night of Baldur's Gate 3 than they've had in a year of office small talk and reality telly. Gaming's hobby, gaming's art, gaming's skill. And people who don't get that, they're once stuck in past. Appreciate question, Connor. You to nerve, best way. Next up, this one comes from Pirate Friendly Arsonist 9195, and he asked, despite twonks and naysayers, is Splitgate 2 able to rise again? Short answer, yeah. Long answer, only if it stops trying to be game it war and starts becoming game it should have been. Now I got a full video dropping tomorrow on this exact topic, so don't miss that if you want full rant. But for now, it's Pulse. Splitgate had lightning in a bottle, arena shooting DNA, Halo gunplay with a brain-twisting portal system that made every kill feel like clip-worthy play. It scratched an itch we forgot we had, then it exploded, went viral, got chucked into live service meat grinder, servers buckled, updates slowed, expectations outpaced roadmap, and instead of riding wave, they hit pause. Smart move, but risky. Now we got Splitgate 2, built fresh in Unreal 5, new engine, bigger scope, and question is, can they recapture that same energy without losing charm? I think they can, because core idea is still gold. Portals in a shooter ain't just a gimmick, it's a skill expression multiplier. But they need to pick a lane. They tried to chase COD's gun grind, Apex's monetization, Fortnite's fashion drip, it'll collapse again under its own indecision. But if they lean into what made it unique, fast, tight, brainy gameplay with clean movement and map control, could be best arena shooter at decade. And the fact that they stopped development on Splitgate 1 to focus entirely on building a sequel properly, that tells me they're not chasing a quick cash in, they're swinging for something that lasts, that speaks volume. So yeah, it's got a shot, but it has to punch hard, and it has to punch now, because genre's starving, for attention spans are shorter than ever. Cheers for the question, Pyro, you want it good uns. And last up this week, we got a spicy one from Vengeance48 who asks, what are your thoughts on Ubisoft saying microtransactions make games more fun? Ah, mate, that statement's got more manure packed into it than a council estate garden show. Microtransactions make games more fun? That's corporate version of pissing in your brew and calling it tea. Let's get this straight, Ubisoft aren't talking about free-to-play games like Warframe or Fortnite, where chucking a few quid for skins is out light stale. They're talking about full-price 70 quid titles being laced with storefronts like a bloody duty-free aisle. Assassin's Creed with XP boosters, Skull and Bones with more premium currencies than gameplay system, Siege stemmed from tactical tension to Neon Clown Ops with 20 quid operator skins that look like raid flyers. And they've got gold to say it's fun. They're not designing for fun, they're designing for fatigue, for frustration. Stretching grind so far that when they offer a shortcut, feels like mercy. It's not about cosmetics, it's about engineering exact pain point where patience snaps and your wallet opens. And calling it player freedom? Jesus wet. That's like punching you in the face and selling you an ice pack. Ubisoft games these days aren't built to be enjoyed, they're built to be endured. Every menu's a storefront, every unlock's a tease. You're not playing anymore, you're shopping in a trench coat with a slow internet connection. And don't even start with it's just optional. If it were truly optional, they wouldn't kneecap XP curve and bury good gear behind paywalls. If it were optional, they wouldn't need to change wording from owned to unlocked just in case they want to yank it back someday without a lawsuit. Ubisoft didn't make games more fun, they made monetization more acceptable. And the only reason they can say this with a straight face is cause enough people bought in. They got away with it, that's real tragedy. Not microtransactions, but that we let it become normal. Vengeance. That question deserves a raised pint and a slow sarcastic clap. Nailed it. Cheers mate. And that's your lot for this week's Hey Scotty. Splitgate might rise from grave, Battlefield trying to grow a pair, Ubisoft still selling pain with sprinkles, and even Apple's out here decoding compression like it's a spy novel. Massive thanks to everyone who sent questions. Bronet, Jack Left Town, Ages444, Connor Phelan 9825, Pyro Friendly Arsonist 9195, Vengeance48. You lot keep fire lit. Join Discord, follow on X. Consider a channel membership if you're tired of being unlocked like a digital peasant. Smash like, hit subscribe, drop your comments and questions below. Especially if you've ever been dawned by a cattier sniper or lost sleep over a bad patch note. And I'll see you next time, you magnificent.